Pakistan is a nation that has been shaped by a series of dramatic and often traumatic events. Partition, war, military coups, economic crises, and natural disasters. The history of Pakistan is a history of upheaval, a story of a nation struggling to find its footing in a turbulent region, a country that has been battered by the winds of change, but has somehow managed to survive. But amidst the drama of these well-known events, there is a hidden history, a secret history that has been quietly reshaping the destiny of the nation, a history that is not taught in schools, not discussed in the media, and not acknowledged by the political elites. This is the story of a single deal, a deal that was signed in secret, a deal that was never debated in parliament, a deal that was never scrutinized by the media, and a deal that has changed Pakistan forever. The deal was signed in the 1990s, but its roots go back much further. It was a deal between the Pakistani military establishment and a foreign power, a deal that was designed to secure Pakistan's strategic interests, but that had far-reaching and unintended consequences. The deal was kept secret because it was politically sensitive, because it involved a compromise of Pakistan's sovereignty, and because it would have been deeply unpopular if it had been made public. The deal was signed by a select group of individuals, and it was never debated or discussed in any public forum. The consequences of this deal have been profound, but they have been hidden in plain sight. The deal has shaped Pakistan's foreign policy, its economic development, its social fabric, and its political trajectory. It has created a new elite, a class of people who have benefited from the deal, and it has marginalized a vast majority of Pakistanis who have been left behind. It has created a rentier economy that is dependent on foreign aid and remittances, and it has stunted the development of productive and competitive industrial sector. It has created a security state that is more concerned with protecting the interests of the military establishment than with serving the people. And it has created a culture of corruption and impunity that has eroded the rule of law and undermined the legitimacy of the state. The world has been told a story about Pakistan. That it is a failed state, a nuclear-armed rogue nation, a haven for terrorists, a country that is perpetually on the brink of collapse. But this story is a lie, a deliberate and calculated deception that is designed to obscure the truth about Pakistan's hidden history. The truth is that Pakistan is not a failed state. It is a captured state, a state that has been captured by a small group of powerful individuals who have used their power to enrich themselves and to entrench their control over the nation. And the key to understanding this captured state is understanding the one deal that changed Pakistan forever. To understand the deal that changed Pakistan forever, we must first travel back in time to the creation of Pakistan itself, a nation that was born out of the trauma of partition, a nation that was carved out of the heart of the Indian subcontinent, a nation that was created in the name of Islam, but that was deeply divided by ethnicity, language, and class. Pakistan was a new nation, a nation that was struggling to define its identity, a nation that was grappling with the challenges of building a state from scratch, and a nation that was facing the daunting task of integrating a diverse population into a single political entity. The early years of Pakistan were a time of hope and ambition, a time when the promise of a new nation seemed within reach. The founding fathers, Muhammad Ali Jinnah and Liaquat Ali Khan, laid the foundations of a modern state, a state that was committed to democracy, to the rule of law, and to protection of the rights of all its citizens. But the promise of Pakistan was soon overshadowed by the realities of power. The assassination of Liaquat Ali Khan in 1951, the political instability of the 1950s, and the military coup of 1958 set the stage for the rise of a powerful and unaccountable military establishment. The military establishment became the dominant force in Pakistani politics, a force that was more interested in maintaining its own power and prestige than in serving the people. The military establishment saw Pakistan as a strategic asset, a frontline state in the Cold War, a bulwark against the spread of communism, and a potential ally of the United States. The military establishment forged a close relationship with the United States, a relationship that was based on the exchange of aid and military support for strategic cooperation. But this relationship was also a trap that would eventually lead Pakistan down a path of dependency and domination. The 1960s and 1970s were a time of growing economic and political instability, a time when the promises of the founders were betrayed by the realities of power. The 1971 war with India and the subsequent breakup of Pakistan were a devastating blow to the nation, a moment that exposed the deep divisions within the country and the failure of the political system. The military regime of General Zia-ul-Haq, which came to power in 1977, was a turning point, a time when the military establishment consolidated its power and began to reshape the nation in its own image. The 1980s were the era of the Afghan War, a time when Pakistan became a frontline state in the proxy war between the United States and the Soviet Union. The military establishment, with the support of the United States, trained and armed the Mujahideen, the fighters who would eventually defeat the Soviet Union. But this was also a time when Pakistan became a hub of drug trafficking, gun running, and terrorism, a time when the military establishment began to use terrorism as a tool of foreign policy. The war in Afghanistan was a turning point, a time when the military establishment began to see terrorism as a weapon, a time when the military establishment began to believe that it could control the forces that it had unleashed. The hidden power of the deal that changed Pakistan forever lies in its ability to reshape the nation's economic, political, and social structures in ways that benefited a small elite at the expense of the vast majority of Pakistanis. The deal was not just a financial transaction. It was a transformation of the state itself, a shift from a development-oriented state to a rentier state, a shift from a state that served the people to a state that served the interests of the military establishment and its allies. The first hidden layer of the deal was the economic transformation. The deal opened up Pakistan's economy to foreign investment and created a new class of wealthy industrialists, bankers, and real estate developers who were closely tied to the military establishment. The rentier economy that emerged was based on the extraction of rents, not on production of goods and services. The economy became dependent on foreign aid, remittances, and the extraction of natural resources, and was unable to generate the jobs and incomes that were needed to support a growing population. The second hidden layer of the deal was the political transformation. The deal consolidated the power of the military establishment, making it the dominant force in Pakistani politics. The military establishment became the arbiter of political disputes, the guarantor of stability, and the ultimate source of power. The political system was transformed from a system of representative government to a system of military rule, a system in which the elected government was subservient to the military establishment. The third hidden layer of the deal was the social transformation. The deal created a new elite, a class of people who were closely tied to the military establishment and who were the primary beneficiaries of the rentier economy. This elite was isolated from the rest of the population, and it was indifferent to the suffering of the people. The deal created a society that was deeply divided by class, a society in which the gap between the rich and the poor was growing at an alarming rate. The fourth hidden layer of the deal was the geopolitical transformation. The deal aligned Pakistan with the United States, making Pakistan a strategic partner of the West. This alignment was a double-edged sword, a relationship that brought benefits but also came with strings attached. The deal made Pakistan a target of terrorism, a hub of extremism, and a source of instability in the region. The hidden power of the deal is immense, and it continues to shape Pakistan's destiny. The consequences of the deal that changed Pakistan forever are not confined to the borders of Pakistan. The ripple effects of the deal are felt across the globe, affecting the global economy, international security, and the balance of power in the region. The first ripple is the impact on global security. Pakistan is a nuclear-armed state, and the deal has made a source of instability in the region. The deal has created a security state that is more concerned with protecting its own interests than with promoting stability and peace. The deal has created a culture of extremism that has spread beyond the borders of Pakistan, fueling terrorism in Afghanistan, India, and the West. The second ripple is the impact on the global economy. Pakistan is a major player in the global economy, a country with a large population, a growing middle class, and a strategic location. The deal has stunted the development of Pakistan's economy, making it a source of instability in the global economy. The deal has created a rentier economy that is dependent on foreign aid and remittances, and it has made Pakistan a source of financial volatility. The third ripple is the impact on the global balance of power. Pakistan is a key player in the regional balance of power, a country that has the ability to influence events in Afghanistan, India, and China. The deal has made Pakistan a pawn in the great power competition, a country that is being used by the United States, China, and Russia to advance their own interests. The deal has made Pakistan a source of instability in the region, and it has created a situation in which the great powers are competing for influence in Pakistan. The fourth ripple is the impact on the global narrative about Pakistan. The deal has shaped the way the world sees Pakistan, creating a narrative of a failed state, a nuclear-armed rogue nation, a haven for terrorists. This narrative is a lie, a deliberate and calculated deception that is designed to obscure the truth about Pakistan's hidden history. The global narrative about Pakistan is a weapon, a tool that is being used to justify intervention, to undermine sovereignty, and to create a climate of fear and suspicion. The global ripple of the deal that changed Pakistan forever is spreading, and the world is only beginning to understand the full implications. The future of Pakistan is a future of uncertainty, a future that is shaped by the choices that the nation makes today. The deal that changed Pakistan forever was a choice that was made by a small group of powerful individuals, a choice that was never debated or discussed in any public forum. The future of Pakistan depends on whether the nation can break free from the legacies of that deal, and whether it can build a new path that is based on justice, equality, and prosperity. The first critical pivot is the restoration of democracy. Pakistan must restore representative democracy, a system of government that is accountable to people and that is responsive to their needs. The military establishment must be brought under civilian control, and the political system must be reformed to ensure that it serves the interests of the people. The second critical pivot is the transformation of the economy. Pakistan must move away from the rentier economy that was created by the deal, and it must build a productive and competitive industrial sector. The economy must be diversified, and it must generate jobs and incomes that are sufficient to support a growing population. The third critical pivot is the reform of the security state. Pakistan must reform its security state, making it more accountable, more transparent, and more responsive to the needs of the people. The security state must be transformed from a force that serves the interests of the military establishment to a force that serves the interests of the nation. The fourth critical pivot is the redefinition of national identity. Pakistan must redefine its national identity, moving away from an identity that is based on religion and ethnicity to an identity that is based on citizenship and rule of law. The nation must embrace its diversity, and it must build a society that is inclusive, tolerant, and just. The pivot is possible, but it requires the courage to confront the past, the wisdom to chart a new path, and the will to build a new future. The future of Pakistan is a future of uncertainty, a future that is shaped by the choices that the nation makes today. Two paths lie ahead, two completely different destinies. In the first path, Pakistan breaks free from the legacies of the deal, restores democracy, transforms the economy, reforms the security state, and redefines its national identity. Pakistan becomes a prosperous, just, and peaceful nation, a model for the rest of the world. In the second path, Pakistan continues to be trapped by the legacies of the deal, a captured state that is dominated by a small elite, a rentier economy that is dependent on foreign aid, a security state that is a source of instability, and a society that is deeply divided. Pakistan remains a nation that is perpetually on the brink of collapse, a cautionary tale for the rest of the world. The question is not whether Pakistan can change. The question is whether it has the will to do so. The map never lies. But the people drawing it always have a reason. We just saw the one deal that changed Pakistan forever. But there is one nation quietly learning from Pakistan's mistakes. That is the next journey. Which future do you believe? Comment Future 1 or Future 2. And subscribe to Atlas Beyond so you never miss the next journey.